What's up gamers, Batman here, and today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the recent released Goldeneye 007 for the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Game Pass. But before we get started, please subscribe for more gaming content.
TST Gaming, your destination for all things gaming.
For those of you who may not be familiar, Goldeneye 007 was a game that was first released on the Nintendo 64 in 1997, nearly 2 years after the release of the James Bond film of the same name. In the game, you take on the role of James Bond himself and complete 18 campaign missions as well as 2 bonus missions. You also have the option to compete against your friends in head-to-head multiplayer on 11 different maps. I personally played the Xbox Series X version of the game via Game Pass, so that's the version I'll be reviewing. However, I'll also touch on something that I heard about the Nintendo Switch version, and maybe which version you should buy, so stay tuned to the end to find out more. One thing that stood out to me right away was the graphics. They've done a great job of keeping the original visuals intact, and even went so far as to add 4K resolution where supported. I think this is a great move for nostalgia's sake, as it allows players to relive their memories of the game exactly as they remember it. Another aspect of the game that I really appreciated was the updated controls. Instead of having to hit a button to aim, you now have the option to use dual analog sticks to move and aim at the same time. This is a huge improvement over the original and makes the game feel much more comfortable to play, especially for someone like me who is used to playing modern shooters. While the aiming controls are still a little clunky, they're much better than they were on the 64. One of the new features that I was particularly excited about was the addition of achievements. I love the feeling of accomplishment that comes with earning achievements, and it's a great way to keep players engaged and motivated to keep playing. It's a small thing, but it can make a big difference in terms of replayability. Another cool feature that I noticed is that all the cheat modes from the original game are still present, which is a nice touch for those who remember the game fondly for those reasons. The multiplayer is split screen for up to 4 players, but unfortunately there is no online gameplay. While I understand that this would have been a lot of work to implement, I do think it's a missed opportunity in today's gaming landscape. One thing I really enjoyed while playing the game is the music. The soundtrack still is as great as I remember it, and it really helps to transport you back to the original experience. There's 3 different difficulties that you can either progress through or jump in and play at the hardest difficulty, which is really great for players who want to feel like they are the iconic James Bond character, or for more of a challenge. But just keep in mind, the harder the difficulty, the more objectives you have per mission. Now, I didn't have a chance to play the multiplayer, but I've heard good things about it. However, I have heard complaints about the controls for the Nintendo Switch. From what I've heard, it can be quite clunky and difficult to use. So if you're trying to decide between the Xbox version and the Switch version, I would recommend going with the Xbox version. Overall, I had a lot of fun revisiting Goldeneye 007. It's a classic game that still holds up today even after all these years. The updated graphics, controls, and achievements make it feel like a modern game, but it still has that nostalgia factor that makes it so special. I'm excited to go back and play through the levels again and again, and I'm sure many of you will feel the same way. I still remember going to see Goldeneye in theaters, which may date me a little bit, but it's the first Bond film I ever saw. And ever since then, I've been a huge fan of the Bond franchise. And I played many of the games that have come out, starting with this one, and none of them ever quite live up to Goldeneye 007. I give this game an 8 out of 10. The reason I do is because I feel like there were a few missed opportunities. Overall, I think this is the definitive version that we've had so far, and I'm hoping that we can get better versions over time, but I don't think that we will, to be honest. But they at least modernize the controls enough so it feels more natural, so I'm used to modern shooters. But I do think that they could have easily added online multiplayer. I think that would have made the difference for replayability for people, because some of the people's best memories of this game are playing against their friends. And the fact that you can only do it locally is a huge misstep in my mind. Again, I understand it would be a lot more work, but I think that it probably would have benefited them to do so, because then you're getting a longer lifespan for the game. But with that being said, again, I'm a huge fan of this. I love this game very much. I'm super happy to get back into it and start grinding away at the achievements. But let us know down in the comments below what you thought of this game's re-release. And that's all we have for today. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching TST Gaming, and until next time, just play.